under orders. And those police, okay, I don't want to say this wrong, but because we got crackpots that will say anything, but we ain't worried about them. But now imagine, why haven't nothing been happening to us all the time? Why I can drive anywhere I want, backwards. I don't have any driver's license. Why do the police never, out in Colorado, you don't have driver's license, okay. You don't have insurance, I don't have nothing. And I don't feel like sitting there listening to you. Well, you have to park your car over there and just leave it. As though I'm gonna, I said, sure. I park my car, took about 2 minutes, and then I get in it and drive it back, go on to California. Why do they do that? They were told, and I've been stopped, let's say 40 times. Well, anytime I go to California and back, I'm going to be stopped going and coming, just for them to double check and to make sure who I am and where I'm at, and everything is fine. And look, I don't care what I do. If I slide off the highway, if anything happens, zoop. I mean, we was in Texas in that other white car, and when I went to the town where I was on Pine Bluff, there was a big, not a hole, but something like in there, and I had all the books. So it hit it, and it didn't have a blowout. But the next morning, the tire was a little low. When I got on the highway, it just unraveled. They had put Loctite on all of my rims. Loctite. Well, that's what the white man over there said. I said, is it possible that, that all of my rims won't come off? You can't get them off? No, it ain't possible. Of course, they put Loctite. Loctite? Yeah, Loctite. Loctite. Put something real tight in there. Just before you screw it in, you squeeze the lid Loctite, and it freezes. You can't unfreeze it unless you. But anyway, when I'm out, I pull over and I'm trying to get the wheel off, and all kind of trucks pull up with white folks on it, and the poor guy still have FOP, Fraternal Order of Police. They got big belt buckles on, and they all got trucks, and they go, oh, we're happy about that. And they know what to do. And they get the little thing like this, and one gets a long pipe with a hole in it to get leverage, and he sticks it in there, and that's how he knows. He knows what he's got to do. Right? He knows what he's got to do. Because they done called him and told him we put Loctite on this thing, and he didn't have it flat. Right? That's okay. That stuff happens all the time. So where would all that stuff come from? That stuff comes from 24-hour, 7 days a week surveillance. But this stuff the last few days, it means we hitting on something. And they making sure that ain't nobody else gonna, see the Zionists. The Zionists are people like, when Brother Abdullah Haq and I went down to the Willard Hotel, and that was gonna be press, they said that this is gonna be independent press. So independent press means it kind of poor. And we walked upstairs, and I looked at all that stuff in the hallway. So I said, y'all ain't no independent press. I said, y'all on loan. Yeah, we're on loan from such and such. So, where I get along with people. So I got some of the press come here. They might have been from Virginia, then they was in California, and they always, man, my home folks in Virginia, when they talk about the Civil War, you think they talking like it was last week or last month, or Jim did this, and, they remember that stuff down there. And for them, he had been out to California and he come back here, it's strange for him, because the West and the North don't remember the Civil War unless it's Ken Burns or somebody. They don't remember it, but these people down here right across the street, they remember, and everything is Lee Highway, Jim Stewart High School, and all of that stuff, that's what they remember, and that's what they act out for. Okay, now, for us, how does this affect the police and their attitude with us? And you put the press, and you put all of it. When we went down there to the Willard Hotel, it was two guys back there monitoring the thing, and with the headphones. So I'm messing with them, They kind of old guys, they was our age. They wasn't laughing or nothing. You could crack jokes from here to Sunday. Different than the other white boys, they easy to get to. American white boys. Should Abdul Haq say, them guys act like Israelis. I said, that's 100% right. They Israelis. They don't have nothing, ain't nothing I'm saying registering with them. And they're not here for all of that. They're Israelis. They're, I'm not going to say non-human, but they're non-communicating, they're here for their job. And anyway, we go through those changes. That was a time when they was trying to get us on the media all the time. Well, what happened? Number one, they couldn't trap us into nothing. The other thing is, boss man himself, the U.S., they've been on our case all of this time, from before the Israelis. But guess what the white man, the American white man, they think that's our nigga, we know that nigga there. If he say it's hot outside, you just take off your stuff, and if he say it's cold, you know what I mean? Because we know that nigga there, right? If we done sent people try to do this and that, say the FBI come and they say, well, and I holler at them, get out of here. They said, oh, we just want to see if Rough Son Johnny said, I said, Rough Son Johnny, are you crazy? But so I tell the FBI, I said, think I'm stupid? That somebody from somewhere can tell me, I must have told them something like, if I want to go to penitentiary or something, I know how to get there. I got my volunteer badge, penitentiary bound. I know how to get there. In other words, they know, and you can see our relationship, they know this Negro is not going to let anybody, he'll sleep under a bridge before he let anybody, you know what I mean, manage, you know what I mean. So for them, they say the enemy of my enemy is my friend. You've got to count up the anti-Zionist white folks that they don't want me and you to be free, but they want to be free. So we just got to keep them not boxed in, but kind of like, hey, now that we got freedom from the Zionists, we're going to share this freedom. Well, we didn't sign, we signed up for that, but that's what we meant. So we already know, we know him, right? But he's not the main one right now. The Zionist, we gotta get rid of him. He's knocking everybody. Now imagine these white people, man, their children are coming back blown up, and they come, you know what I mean? All these psychological problems and suicide. And what about, hey, we don't want to go to war to fight your war? What's wrong with you, right? Now remember, the susceptibilities of a system in a decline, so that means the U.S. is susceptible to many historical illnesses. They're susceptible to that, okay? There's natural preponderances for decline and, you know, self-inflicted wounds and what have you. Now the Zionists are going to be here. I'm sure anything you read about the Zionists, they done got so arrogant now that they say, so what, we control the media. Right. Yeah, they said, so what? You know, your Congress can't do nothing. That's the thing about Zionists. Historically, every time, go back in history, every time before the Zionist mentality people was right on the point of grabbing world power. Because see, the thing is, they sent themselves all over the world, and they was exiled. They was in all over the world, everywhere, except China, Japan. They got lucky, they lucky. But don't worry. Well, of course, we see who's on our side, we on their side. Remember all the tricky questions about China? Niggas trying to get us to say something about China, to be mad at China, or suspicious of China. Well, you have to be suspicious of everybody, because if everybody don't, who's going to be 100% honest in everything they do, right? So you have to protect yourself. You know, when you have a deal with these crooks, you protect yourself because they're crooks and they're human. You know, okay. So the situation we're in right now is we have a better record with counter-Zionism than anybody else. And we didn't bail the cat with the United States. But you know what? It took us so long that people forgot what we was doing, right? They don't know, like when the people look at us, they don't know, look around. They don't know we didn't bail the cat. We just say it, but they don't even know. It's been so long and happening, right? That they haven't kept up to know. But now, bail the cat number 2 is bail the Zionist cat. We have to bail the Zionist cat. And I say right now that some of these people, you got to come out and take risks. You can't just stay in the back all the time. You know what I mean? And kind of maneuver things along. I'm absolutely certain that boss man is running around back there. I already know that. I've been knowing that for years. I know certain things that I do and certain things I don't do. You know what I mean? I got enough sense to recognize that. But now is the time to go through this process. And this personality we're dealing with is surfacing. Who hates Obama? And that was the only thing Obama did. When they brought him in as president, they said, we'll give this nigga the presidency, and we'll also give him all this money that disappeared, right? And he can't fix nothing. And then he stumbled around there them 8 years, and he got things for a coon. He didn't do too bad. But what mistake did he make? What was Saudi Arabia mad about? And what was Netanyahu mad about? The treaty, right? What did Trump do the first thing he got in there? Tore them up. Just tore them up. Why? Because that was the war. Saudi Arabia hates Iran. Saudi Arabia is oppressing Shias in the Eastern Province. Saudi Arabia spent all this money, billions of dollars on. Saudi Arabia has caused all of this problem. All their America's problems, they come from Saudi Arabia. They don't come from us. They don't come from Hezbollah, Palestinians. All them old meat-headed, those meat-headed Daesh, just cutting people's heads. Those people, those are Israeli-type people that we just cut your head off. And the people is hollering, come on, man, I'm a Muslim. I don't care who you are. I'm Greek. I'll cut your throat, right? The behavior pattern of all of those people are Israeli and Saudi. You ought to see a TV program. There's something about Saudi Arabia. I was watching the other night. Something Saudi on something or other. They just cut people's head off. You know what I mean? Then they push the body around. Them guys, they executed 40-something people recently. These guys are like, they kind of like monsters with Arab clothes on. They really, you know, okay, then you mix them with Israelis. That's what we fighting. In America right now, imagine the American people want some peace and tranquility. They want to pay their bills. They don't want to be bothered. They won't be able to get that with these Israelis running their business. They got a Congress that they can't fix nothing because they're not working for the American people. That was one thing about old-time crackers and Masons and all that. Right. They was at least Americans. Right. Yeah. No, they was American. They was old dumb Americans, and they well, we kill all the Indians, but if you scrape them long enough, they would be American or semi-American, right? Yeah. These people aren't. They don't care. Huh? Dixiecrats. There you go, Dixiecrats. Hey man, I remember the Dixiecrats. Malcolm used to say, a Dixiecrat ain't nothing but a Democrat. But anyway, Trump, Israelis, Palestine. With Obama, they had to get rid of, it's never happened that an Israeli can come over here and give a talk in this Congress and the Senate, and he get more standing ovation than Obama. I heard when they had the meeting down there at the White House, they told Obama he could go. Yeah, okay, you can go. Okay, now you gotta remember though. You gotta remember there's a significant amount of Americans that are reading these signs too, including the security services, which took an oath to the Constitution. You always have to remember, some people take that stuff serious. They're Boy Scouts like. They really, you know what I mean? And when they raid people, they remember what they seen when they was kids. Oh, this is what Nazi stormtroopers did, right? In brown shirts, they did what we're doing, right? You got to remember, there's always going to be some. Now, all we need is, we want the people to get busy, and we'll take the contract. We'll bail the Zionists, but we're not going to bail it by ourselves. And that's basically what we're saying. Yeah. That is, you can see what they're doing to you. They're disturbing. They could press certain buttons and push you into a civil war, and the people won't know how they got into it. They won't know how they got into it because they don't know how all them people riding up and down the street spraying mace on people. Or the poor guy was being attacked. Yeah, after he shot somebody already and they're trying to get the weapon from him, right? The young guy. So then he shoots two other guys after he had already shot one person. And Don talking about, oh, the poor fellow boy, he's lucky he got away there. And then he strolled on home. Somebody said his mama drove him over there and drove him back home. I don't know. I know one thing. We're not the only ones that's seeing this, and we're not the only one with a mathematical mentality that can add up some of this stuff. Therefore, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. That being that of course the FBI have been that nice to us, but I mean bygones is bygones, stuff like that, at least temporary or something, right? Because as long as the FBI is holding our position back, we have enough skill to bring this out. But we need avenues. So it means somebody has to call one of their friends and it'll slip out in the media a little bit, and then they call me and interview me and I'll give them 2%, and then 9%, and they look around in several months and we will have educated on the public.